Thank you, Minouche and Nisha. Welcome to Firoz Lalji and to Eben Omelaju. We are delighted to have you back on campus. Firoz, Minouche mentions that you're going to be establishing the Firoz Lalji Global Hub.
You have to look at the vision of our director, Baroness Shafiq, Minouche Shafiq. You know, it's her vision of creating LSC in modern times. And it started with her strategy around 2030, which then led to the creation and the thought and the vision around the global hub about creating a modern day agora where leaders can convene and discuss and debate opposing viewpoints backed by research from LSE, you know, and come with outcomes that will solve global problems.
And what about reaching the kind of the global community? I mean, how will our global community engage with this new initiative?
Well, this is where I think things changed, where we had acceleration of technology, and everybody was forced into working on Zoom and online media, and now we have seminars and public lecture series and debates online and blogs and discussions that reaches millions and millions of people.
Well, I mean, we have the Africa blog, which reaches, what, 100 million readers now.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
I mean, that has been, you're right. I mean, it's changed the way we communicate, hasn't it?
Absolutely. If you talked about convening people in a physical presence, you'd be looking at hundreds.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at millions.
But this agora is still going to bring people into a physical space.
You have to have that physical presence, you know, for leaders and thought leaders to come and talk and debate. But doesn't mean that it can't be done online, you know.
Right.
So our goal is to educate, research, and agree facts on key issues.
To some degree, is this sort of building upon the journey we've been on, I suppose, with respect to the creation of the Firoz Lalji Institute for Africa?
The institute was a development of the Program for African Leadership. Ebno here is PFAL 9, one of the recipients of the PFAL program. And you know, it goes back, Tim, to the days when I was a third generation Ugandan. You know, we were expelled from Africa. We went through 4 different phases: anger, realization that, all right, it was not the society in general that expelled the Asians, it was just one madman. And then comes forgiveness, and then you ask the question, what are you going to do about it? And so the Program of African Leadership was launched at LSC.
So picking up on the scholarships issue, we have a former PFALer here with us. Eben, welcome. What were your experiences of going through this program?
Honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed PFAL. It was one of my highlights being part of LSE. I would say my biggest highlight being part of PFAL was the PFAL project because of the skills development element of it. I really enjoyed working with other young leaders in Africa and thinking of innovative solutions in terms of what we could do around development. I think that the project really pushed us to think beyond solutions that had already happened. The project I was working on was around promoting well-being and health, and we really looked at Africa. We sat together as a team of 8 and we thought, what's the best place for us to really think of an idea around and where can we really bring impact? And that's when we looked into Tanzania and we heard about some of the rules around sexual reproductive health, and we really thought, what would young people really connect with today? So we really thought of creative ideas around engaging young people in this area and trying to find a way in which they can really understand how to improve and how to live a healthier life. And my team actually came second place out of the 8 teams. Thank you very much. So the campaign that we did was called Sharp. And I believe that the other PFALers really enjoyed what we had done. And away from that, I would say the skills that one gains in doing a project in terms of working with people, having different stakeholders, the research element, these are skills that I've been able to take on into my career today and into the work that I do in my day-to-day.
So let me ask you another question. I mean, as an LSE alumna, what would be your message to prospective African students wanting to come to the LSE and shape the world?
Well, firstly, I'll start off by saying, be the change that you wish to see in the world. This is a quote that has really stood by me throughout life. I think often people think of change existentially. They don't think of it within themselves and what they can do within their space. And I think that many of the young people out there looking to be a prospective student, they would have big ideas and visions, but I would say it's important to start where you are. Another quote that I really love is, drops of water make an ocean. And in terms of being able to start with where you are, collectively, that's how we can shape the world, that's how we can make change. So it's twofold. It's firstly in terms of being that change and starting with where you are, and then secondly, in starting with where you are collectively, that's how that change comes about.
And how do you see LSE shape the world, from your experience of Program of African Leadership?
From my experience, I would say just continuing to raise future leaders and continuing to be at the forefront of research. In a way, what our PFAL projects provoked was research in us, in terms of thinking outside of the box. I believe in terms of the work that we do with our courses, oftentimes we'll think about things in a particular way, but the project that we did really made us think, what innovative ideas can we really push forward to make a positive impact in Africa? And I think it's a matter of provoking our thoughts. It's a matter of raising leaders. It's a matter of being in a space where there's no boundaries, and we know that many things are possible. So I would say it's really about raising future leaders, being at the forefront of research, and finally bringing key impactful individuals to share their thoughts. So thought leaders such as Dr. Vanessa Iwowo, she was absolutely fantastic.
That's great.
I really enjoyed her leadership sessions because it really just made us think outside of the box. She is someone that has come through research. She is from an academic background, of course, but the way that she thought leadership through was so different to what we're used to. So it was really nice to see another perspective and see how we can even inherit some of the ways that she considered how leadership could be done and how development could be done in Africa.
A final question, what's your fondest memory of the LSE?
I would say coming to a place like LSE really transforms you. First of all, you're just a kid from school, coming to a university from a small place in Uganda, where you thought the world was East Africa, and had never been outside of that country. And to come to UK and, just in a different environment, and then to an institution like LSE where you're not taught, you're taught to think. I think that's the main difference, is you're learning how to learn throughout your life. And that's very transformative, And while I was at school here, I would be questioning, it says, why are they talking about this subject over here? Why are we doing anthropology or economic history that's going back 300 years, And I said, we'll never apply this. And how wrong I was, because you go into the real life, you learn how to solve problems, and you take a historical perspective as well as the present and see how that's going to transform the future. And so it's a learning experience that stays with you throughout your life. And you adapt to changes in the world. And I'll say that it's probably the most transformative experience that I've gone through in my life.